Welcome to Straight Outta Savannah with Jennifer McKenzie. I'm so excited that she has come to join us. She's going to share her magic and tell us all about who she is, what she does, and how she can help you. So, Jennifer, take it away.
Thank you. What do you want me to say?
I want you to tell the people who you are and what it is that you do.
I am Jennifer McKenzie, and I currently am residing in Canada. I am Canadian, but I do my work all over the world via virtual. I do in-person sessions all over my area that I live in as well. So I started out actually, I kind of came onto the planet awake and aware, and I had a lot of extrasensory experiences as a child, but was very afraid of them and didn't want anything to do with this world of witchy woo woo or
Yes.
seeing spirits or things like that. So it took me a long time to really come to terms with it. And I had a situation in 1999 where I met this head on and it wouldn't go away. So I had to learn how to work with my abilities. And I just want to preface this by saying we all have these abilities. I'm not special. I just remembered. And I came in remembering because I'm here to help other people remember who they are. So I am a professional medium and psychic and a channel for healing. And I actually channel your higher self when I do the work now. So I evolve, I'm on my own healing journey, my own remembering journey. So everything that I do, I take in for myself first, and then I use that to support others. And I've been doing deep work probably well, for the last 26 years, but really deep work for the last 8 or 9 years, where we are positioning ourselves for a big change on the planet. As we know, we are all seeing it. And it's in support of my own journey, which I call the liberation of the soul to be able to go back to source origin and move out of the reincarnation cycle, and to support others just to come into their own healing space within themselves. So go deeper and deeper into the remembering who they are by shedding all the conditioning that we experience here in this 3D plane, because I know we are souls having a human experience. And I'm sure this is like a platitude that people hear all the time now, but the soul chooses to come here and it needs a body to do it. So it projects itself through the reality of this 3D experience, but we are not this experience. We get to experience it while we're here, but we are more soul, more essence, more consciousness than we are this physical body. And now is the time to remember that. So a lot of it's healing. There's a lot of trauma healing, grief work. I also am a bit of a science geek, and I've been learning quantum physics, neuroscience, and spirituality, and the mediumship and mystical experiences, and putting all that together to embody wholeness for myself. And then again, share that with others for them to understand that healing happens on mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical levels, not just through the medical model. And this is a huge piece that's missing, is the connection to our emotional energy, to our frequency, to our mental energy, and to our spirit, because that's how we truly can heal. Heal things we've been told we can't. And I'm a testament to that. I healed myself of a 30-year chronic condition called Hashimoto's thyroiditis by doing the work.
That is powerful because that is really why we're here. And
Yes.
you and I are so similar in that because that is the same thing. It's like the stuff that I've been going through navigating with the long COVID, especially, but also with just midlife. Where do I want to go from here? And reinventing myself and deciding who I want to be. And then also helping other women with the same, because I know that if we are experiencing it, then other women all over the planet are experiencing it as well.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
that part is you, like, I don't know about you, but I've done these courses where they want you to do your ideal client and all this other kind of stuff. What I realize is our ideal client is us. You are your ideal client because all the things that you heal and all the things you're healing for yourself, but you're also healing for other people. So you can be a way shower and show them the way. Hey, you don't have to suffer with this forever. I don't give a fuck what the
Yeah.
doctors say. I don't care that
Exactly.
they say this is uncurable or there's not a cure, this, that, and the third, whatever. No, everything can be healed. And I feel that way. And when you said that, I feel like so many people gloss over that.
I'm
These
telling you.
people that say they follow Christ and whoever else they follow, but in those books, I know it says that you can heal yourself, but they gloss over that part. And so you bringing that forth is phenomenal to me because I feel like that's what so many of us are doing in this time. And it's 222. But that's what so many of us are doing in this time is healing forward, is what I call it. Because it's like
Yeah.
healing, and I'm also bringing you
Yeah.
because I've been where you are because you're a couple steps back. I've been there. I know what that feeling is, but I want to
Hmm.
bring it here.
Yes.
And I think that is just so important. So I have a question. Mediumship requires surrender and trust. What parallels do you see between opening to spirit and opening to a new chapter of self in midlife?
Needing to be in the present moment awareness and be in the unknown. You have to be in the unknown in order to fully surrender into the moment and into the experience. So I had to surrender and trust when I open the door to the other side and bring people through. I have to surrender and trust when I'm stepping into something that is new, because if it's not new, then it's the past.
Yes.
So it's new. You have to be in that space of unknown. So surrender and trust and know that your soul is the one that's leading the journey. This is what gets to be here because it's the physical medium that we need in order to have the experience. But if we let our souls lead, we lead from flow. If we let our analytical minds lead, we can get into resistance because that's where all the emotional energy is. And that's one thing that I share now in the work that I do and the way that I do the work that I do, because it's always evolving as I grow. And it's to understand that we are co-creators of our reality. So when I do a mediumship session, obviously that's connecting with loved ones who've crossed over and bringing through evidence of survival and healing is big. That's one of my biggest positionings, is helping people heal and clear any karma, any discord, any guilt, and whatever's left over. Let's clear that. Let's forgive. Let's heal. Let's let it go and free the soul, liberate the soul from whatever's holding it back, because there's so much trauma that we store in our system. And yeah, I'm
Yes.
sure people have probably heard the book, The Body Keeps the Score,
Yeah.
but we hold trauma is trapped emotion. And so when someone comes to me for a session and I'm doing a channeling, they're coming to me because they're stuck in their life. They have questions about the future they want to know. So I can give predictive information, but if I give you information about okay, one of the most popular ones is, oh, relationship. Is a woman going to come in my life, right? So that's one of the most popular ones. Is I can give you the predictive information about what I see on your path right now and where you're going and what that looks like. But if you have unhealed emotions from the past and you're in a pattern, what's that going to do for you if you're stuck in a pattern? Right? You're not going to get there in the way that you want to, because you're going to loop right back into that old pattern that's keeping you stuck in whatever it is that's not bringing you the relationship that you want. So let's look at the shadow. Let's go into the unconscious programming. Me psychically will tune in, get in there and give you a different perspective, pull that out into awareness so it's no longer being projected,
Yes.
clear that, give you the predictive information so you can walk into that future
Yes.
and walk into it knowing that's possible. Because I think people get so defeated with all these patterns. I'll never find love. And that is
Mm.
you feeling separate. Of course you will. You're
Right.
just stuck in something that's making you feel like that. But of
Yes.
course you can, right?
Yes. And when you say that to people, what kind of reactions do you get? Because the reactions that I get vary. Some are like, oh, wow, like aha moment, right?
Yeah, it's a light bulb. It's the light bulb that goes off. They're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And then they have an extremely transformative experience. And sometimes a few months later, I'll get a phone call. Thank you. I met him. Or they'll come back and they'll tell me, I met the man and done. Now I help with this. So
Yes.
yeah, but it's really about empowerment. So, of course, we all are looking for some insight, some guidance. Absolutely. Even I do on my own journey. But we have to remember we have the inner compass within us. And I don't want people to give me their power. I
Yes.
want you to keep your power intact and
Mhm.
remember who you are and just support you to navigate you on that journey.
So now let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
How did you get to this place where you knew that you could connect across the veil? What kind of things were happening in your life
I was
that you
5 the
on that?
first time I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would be standing in the middle of my basement stairs, knowing not how I got there, and there was a little girl ghost in the corner, and she had a bunny rabbit, and she had a nightgown on, and she was over by the water heater, and she wanted me to play with her, and I was like, something didn't feel right, but I didn't really understand it, but I just felt really uncomfortable, but I had no context for what was happening, and that happened to me for years, and then it wasn't until the dissolution of my marriage, a very abrupt ending, and it was a trauma, and that snapped me wide awake, and I couldn't shut it off. I was seeing auras around people. I was having past life flashbacks when I would go to sleep at night. I was astral projecting out of my body. My guides were taking me the stuff that was happening to me. I literally thought I was going crazy at one point. But I
Yes.
found out that I actually was awakening and connecting. And then I would have prophetic dreams. I would have a dream, wake up, and then a day or two later, it would happen. So I wanted to learn how to navigate this. So I just started reading because this was back in dial-up internet when there wasn't a whole
Yeah.
lot going on
Yeah.
on the internet, right? So I'm reading everything I could to try and understand how to navigate. Then I got into energy healing, and that's what helped me. Energy healing helped ground my energy, and I started to get clear. So when I had my hands on people, the visions started coming in clearer, and they would come in while people were on the healing table. And then I would say something, and they're like, "Well, that's my brother." I'm like, "Oh, okay. And so this is real. Okay." And I tested spirit for a long time because I didn't trust that I could do this. It took me a
Yes.
while. Yeah. And I guess I had a bit of imposter syndrome for a while. It really took me a while to really wrap my head around this. I used to get really serious anxiety before I would do a reading. And I had my whole invocation and prayer, and I was so regimented with it. Now I'm a little more relaxed because I have a different level of trust and surrender with the process. And I've
Yeah.
had lots of experience and mystical experiences that have shown me things. And I've had universal connected energy that's helped me go, yeah, there's like way the more that you know, the less you know, right? It's like there's so much. Every time you unfold something and there's like, wow, it just gets bigger and bigger. So it's so
I,
fun.
I agree. And to me, that's why I love doing circles. Not like all the
Mhm.
time, but just sometimes I love to go and sit in the circle and be able to give back because, like, they put you in the breakout rooms and all that stuff. But I love to be able to do that.
Do you find with circles too, their energy is magnified and people will get better connections and heal or have greater experiences because they're
And
sharing?
some more than others. Like some circles I've been in, like I did one, I think about 2 weeks ago, and it was great. It was the first time I had done that one, but it was great. And it was maybe about 8 of us in the circle. It wasn't a lot, which I think is always nice. But it was just like I could feel the energy. And like right now, my energy's buzzing because of you. So imagine 7 more times of that.
Mm.
I literally, in that circle, I literally had to keep grounding. And then no, because my body wanted to fly off because of all
Yeah.
the energy. And I've experienced that a few times in a few different circles, but I noticed not all of them. And I really honestly haven't thought about what the difference is, except for maybe the facilitator or whatever. But not, I don't even think it really had anything to do with that. And I think it also could be the expectation of the people that are coming to the circle. Because I think if
Mhm.
everybody's expecting it to be, and it's so cohesive and it's so amazing, and to me, it seems like it amplifies your gifts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because we're coming together with our all of our energies coming together. When you open your heart and then everyone opens their heart, you amplify the experience. I love
Yes.
that. I love
I think it's
circles too.
amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. I try to catch one at least. I used to try to catch one once a week, but I don't get to do it like that anymore just because my schedule has changed and I'm doing different things. But I do try to catch them because sometimes you can really get some insight. And sometimes, because a lot of times for ourselves, like I channel for me a lot. But then there are times when it seems like it's hard for me to get the channel for myself. You know what I mean? Or I get, because I've always been a person that can pick up emotions and stuff like that. And for some reason, mediumship is like that for me as well.
Yes.
They always come through, and I was wondering what that was. But a lot of times they'll come through and they're like apologetic. I wasn't there. I know I loved you and I wasn't there, that kind of thing. And it's wow.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. That's the type of work I like to do to help people heal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And see that's for me. Like I've done a few in-person sessions, not a lot, just a couple. But the ones that I've done, it's like the people, it was such a comprehensive session because they got psychic guidance, they got intuitive guidance, and their people came through. So it was so amazing. So when they were done, and the way that I was guided to do it was different from what anybody has shared with me. I was guided to lay the people out on the massage table and then put a crystal grid on them, put a mask on them so they can
Mm-hmm.
close their eyes and relax and be present. Helps them not be all over the place.
Yep.
And that was the way that I was guided to do it. And that has been such a game changer. So I'm actually thinking of doing that. I just moved where I'm at about a year ago. So I'm actually thinking of doing some of that here, but I have to do it in the way that I can do it. So it's like I know that I am an energetic being, and I also know the empath that I am. So it's one of those things where I am protecting my energy. And I think like that. So do you think that when you're doing mediumship sessions, that just brought a question up for me. When you're doing mediumship sessions, do you feel like you need to protect your energy at any time, or how do you think about that?
No, I have a very different awareness around protection. So if you would ask me this question 10 years ago, I would have said yes.
Okay.
But because I was in a mystical experience once, I go to these retreats and we do deep, deep meditation and breath work. And in one of the meditations, we have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's like a 4 or 5 hour meditation. And it activates the pineal gland, which activates your inner transducer, which activates inner visions. And the entire meditation, I was shown how the fourth dimensional realm works. And the fourth dimensional realm is the emotional realm, and it's where all the attachments come from. And I was shown how where we place our energy is where we place our attention. So there truly is nothing to fear because we are love. We come from love and we go back to love. And anything that's separation from that can't. We are such powerful divine beings. There truly is nothing to fear. Are there other things out there? Yes. But if you don't give them your attention, they can't grab you. They can't connect to you. If you're at a different frequency, they can't connect to you. If you're at a higher, so the goal is to move the energy into your heart and stay to be the greatest expression of unconditional love, the Christ consciousness. The unconditional love is the way to recognize there is truly nothing to fear. It's an illusion. And yes, there are other things out there. Yes, there are entities. Yes, there are dark forces. But if you don't give them your attention, you're fine. And I'm telling you from a person who was terrified when I first opened up, because I was scared. For years, I was terrified and afraid of the dark. And I used to protect my energy. Now, no, I clear my energy. I keep my energy very clean. I work at the heart. I amplify. And my energy has been measured by one of those. I can't remember what they're called. My friend has one. And she couldn't understand what was going on because the numbers were going backwards. She goes, hold on, I need to get the manual. And she realized I was actually affecting the energy in the room instead of being affected by it because I had started doing a heart coherence breath and I started amplifying energy. So when we remember who we are, there truly is nothing to fear. And if you see what's happening in this world right now, there are fear programs everywhere to keep you locked in a lower frequency for a reason. Move past that and move back into your heart and remember who you are, and you have nothing to worry about.
I love that answer. I love that, and you're so right. I guess it was probably the beginning of the year. I was in meditation and I got this thing, and I heard them say they're harvesting your energy. And so I was like, okay. So I dived in.
Yeah.
I need to understand
Oh,
there.
before you say that, sorry, I just want to make sure I say this. Intention is everything
Yes,
as well. Intention is everything and always connect to unconditional love. Go ahead. So you said they're
that's
harvesting your energy?
absolutely right. And so I was like, all right. And so I started diving into it and I started understanding what that was about. You know how you get on Facebook and what are people doing? Arguing about everything. Doesn't matter. People will put the political posts up and then this one's going to argue and that one's going to argue. And then next thing you know, there's all this arguing in the comments and it's senseless. And so I started looking at that and I was like, I'm not participating in this anymore. I'm just not doing it. So I will not argue on any platform of any kind. I'm not doing it. Because when they showed that to me, I was like, wow. And I could literally see the energy just siphoning off the people. And I was like, no, can't be. This can't be. But you're right. If they can keep you in those low vibrations,
Yeah.
and then you're just stuck constantly, and then people are in these loops going. So I have
Yeah.
one last question that I
Yes.
ask every single guest. If there was anything in the world that you could change, what would that be and why?
I would ask for people to be aware that war is you killing yourself and fighting against yourself. And if people really understood that if we are one's consciousness, there's no separation between consciousness between all of us. It's like trying to separate the drops from the ocean. We're all connected. And if we understand that we're all connected and that if you're killing someone else, you're killing yourself. If you're fighting someone else, you're fighting yourself. And we need to stop doing this. We need to start understanding that. And if I could change that, that there would not be war anymore because people understood the true awareness behind what is actually going on. That's what I would want because it's senseless and it causes so much trauma on a global scale, but generationally through the one generation to the next generation, that's kept in the nervous system. It's kept in the genes and the DNA, and it's passed on as trauma. And we need to get out of this cycle of trauma.
That's one of my favorite answers because so real when you think about it. It's like because not only are you carrying your damn trauma, you're carrying the generations,
Yep.
your DNA. And I used to do DNA activation years ago, and that was something that I absolutely love doing that work. Now, I want to bring it back forward into my work now. I don't want to do it in a different way. And so I'm asking spirit for guidance on that. But because I just truly believe that with all of the things that are happening in the world or that have happened, I was speaking with some, oh my God,